You better wake the fuck up, Hunter. We got a Tigrex to kill. So what I wanted to convey with that intro is that I still suffer from vivid nightmares. So if anyone has any pro gamer tips about that, please hit me up. And the other thing is that Tigrex has been in the series for a long time, and he's come a long way, and he's finally here.
Tigrex, not Tigrex.
What's that?
It's Tigrex, not Tigrex. It's official and everything. They're gonna say his name in Iceborne too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, man. Well, thanks for telling me. See ya. Alright, well, as I was saying, Tigrex is here, and he's great. Or is he? There's a lot of mixed feelings about it. You know, some people love him, some people not so much. Some people got to comparing him to old Tigrex, which you do when you get a new version of the same monster. And that's what I want to do today. I want to... First, I want to talk about the looks, because if the monster isn't cool, then what are we even doing here? So old Tigrex looks nice. They've touched him up really well over the years. They've given him subspecies, deviants, a bunch of different forms. You can tell there's a lot of love for Tigrex in the series, and he definitely gets some nostalgia points. And by the time we got to GU, he was looking pretty good. So I'll give him 35 guild marms. For World, I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised with Tigrex. He looks pretty good, aside from this angle. I was a little worried because I always felt like some monsters would look stranger with more realistic graphics. Monsters like Teostra and Kushala were always meant to be in these graphics. They look so good. Like Kushala when he does his wing thing with the tornadoes, that shit looks awesome. But after I saw how some monsters looked in Monster Hunter Online, I was worried that some of the scaly monsters would look kind of weird with the realistic graphics. But he turned out looking okay. He doesn't look out of place when he's just chilling there or fighting you. So overall, pretty dope. So I'm gonna give Iceborne Tigrex 48 guild marms. Now I want to talk about the technical comparisons. Some people feel that World's AI has made him all sorts of jank and he's just not fun anymore and kind of busted. And others think he's way too easy now, so much so that it spawns this little trend here, which I honestly enjoyed, and I thought it was pretty funny because I'm not even that crazy, and even I had a clip of clapping Tigrex, so I thought that was pretty funny. But that's what I really wanted to talk about. Why some people hate this new Tigrex, why some people like it, why some people think World's AI has ruined him essentially, or why they think it's an improvement. So this is like the real meat of the video.
So tasty!
Reasons to like and dislike old Tigrex. Well, reasons to like. He's really predictable and easy to head snipe. 80% of his moveset is him just trying to get to you, and because of this, you can really abuse that and abuse the really like rudimentary way he turns around. You pretty much know when he's gonna tackle, you know when he's gonna throw the rocks, and you can already be waiting with an attack or waiting with a hunter or whatever you're trying to do. Since his moveset involves him constantly moving, being able to just get him stuck in a pattern of being stunned or stuck in a pattern of turning around into your attacks was one of the best ways to deal with him and just beat him really fast. When it came to speedrunning him, you just take that same concept I talked about and just dial it up to 100. With practice or the right setup, you can just have him completely stun locked, as many of you guys saw, or at least being able to just constantly counter or punish everything that he does. So despite being a fairly tough monster that can waste a lot of time, some of his speedruns are the fastest because he's also incredibly easy to exploit and take advantage of. Unfortunately, some of the same reasons people like Old Tigrex is the same reason why some people don't like Old Tigrex. If you can't take advantage of a lot of his charging attacks or his tackling moves, you end up on the receiving end of all these combos, and then you can just find yourself just not getting a chance to get in at all. You're too busy trying to heal the thing that just hit you, and then you get hit again because you were in the middle of drinking the potion, and then because you're trying to heal again, you get hit by something else, and you just die. Or you just don't get a chance to fight him and it wastes a lot of time. Also, just because of how his hunt works, there are some weapons that just have a really, really good advantage against him, like Greatsword or Hammer, and Charge Blade as well. Or weapons that have a counter of some kind, especially coming in with Generations and Gen Ultimate. Anything that had a counter really helped against his hunt because you were just able to safely counter whatever he was doing and then punish right after. But then there's some weapons that don't have any of those, and honestly the hunt just becomes annoying if you don't have a way to punish him as easily as some other weapons can. Because of how he fights as well, he's another hunt that is a lot more fun and just efficient to do alone. His hunt is definitely one that gets worse when you play online, just because he has more targets to be running around between, and he just wastes a lot of time if you're playing in multiplayer, unless, you know, you get him stuck in one place and then just take him down. Over time, they've improved him, they've improved his AI, his hitboxes. By the time we got him in Gen Ultimate, we were pretty comfortable with what we had to deal with. It was still same old Tigrex, but we had just ways to deal with it better, and we were also given a bunch of extra tools to help us exploit his weaknesses. And then we got Grimclaw. You better stop! But you guys should try him if you haven't tried him already. Overall, Old Tigrex is pretty good. I think it's the best version of Tigrex we were gonna get in the old style of the game in Gen Ultimate. Unless of course we're gonna get a new Switch title. But I'll give GU Tigrex 80 guild marms. I don't know why I'm picking all these high numbers. I don't know what Tigrex in Iceborne has some new behavior, so World's AI is not as predictable, which of course is a good thing when it comes to designing a more authentic monster hunt. But I'll explain why it's sort of a detriment for Tigrex in specific. First of all, this new lunge thing that he has, he might just start spamming it, and if he does decide to do it, you kind of just have to wait because he's just going to run across the map. It's definitely more difficult to keep him in place with headlocking or flinch locking now, and what I picked up on from hunting him and watching some beta speedruns is that an efficient tactic is to trip lock him now instead, by focusing his wing arms. We don't get to hit his head, but we limit his mobility, which helps the hunt overall. And we've compromised in hunts like this already, where we don't get to hit the weak spot we want until the monster falls over or something. He can now charge 4 times instead of just 3. And then at the end of the charge, he's got a couple new options. For example, he can now spin at the end of the charges. Now, he's always had a forward spin, where like runs forward and like breaks like, and then actually does the spin. But this one, he can actually just combo into his string of charges. And I feel like this move in specific just covers a lot of distance. It's weird. Like the stationary spin has like a tiny hitbox, but then the moving spin just has a huge one. It's a little deceptive with all the snow and ice kind of splashing everywhere. But the reason I mention this is because before we were able to easily kite around the charges and just wait until they were done. But his spin out of charge option seems like it's meant to punish that, because if you're lurking too close, you're just gonna get hit. His hitboxes overall do feel nicer. There's still some dumb stuff that might happen, but that's just part of the Tigrex package. He's also got a new quick get away from me move, like the elders have, which is interesting because I didn't think he needed a move like that, because he's Tigrex, and every move is a get away from me move. But I figure they gave him that so once we're in endgame, he has a means to get the hunters off him quickly, so he doesn't get completely ganged on and die without a chance to even move, which can definitely happen to Tigrex. He's also a lot more clever with the snowballs. First of all, they have a much bigger radius, like the triangle shape that the 3 snowballs go in is a lot wider. I got hit by that so many times. Sometimes he'll throw the snowball first and like while you're dodging it, or if you get hit by it, then he'll approach you, or he'll smack you away and then follow up with the snowball. It's like he's like playing Smash or something and like he's zoning you with projectiles and then approaching. It's super interesting. So with all of these new behaviors and the slightly altered moves that he has, he definitely feels a lot less predictable, which again is a good thing because it's not like this very stiff method of attacking or method of turning around or doing this. It feels more realistic in a sense, but at the same time, you gotta pray to the RNG gods, even more so than previous games, that he doesn't just hightail it away from you or do something stupid. I really need to fight him with more weapons if we do get another beta or, you know, when the game comes out. But similar to old Tigrex, there's definitely an instance where some weapons will have a much easier time, while others will struggle to find openings. But overall, he doesn't seem too bad. They could have definitely transitioned him into this game a lot worse. And what I think players felt when they hunted Iceborne Tigrex in comparison to old Tigrex is that we have the ability to control him a lot less. And I don't mean full-on CC, I mean in Iceborne, we can't influence his behavior as much and make him move the way we want him to by playing a certain way ourselves. World's AI in general was already more difficult to influence, without the use of items and such. But it was something that was very noticeable when hunting a monster like Tigrex, and by comparison to his older self, he seems more erratic now. It was kind of like Teostra at first. He seemed much more like an actual cat, just going all over the place, and like it wasn't just like I'm gonna turn this way and do this, and then I'm gonna turn this way and do this. And Tigrex was very much like that, like he's gonna turn this way and then do this, and then he's gonna turn this way and then do this. But now he's not so much like that. When it came to fighting him, it definitely felt like Tigrex was kind of like drag and dropped into World, and it was like still Tigrex, but with the World AI, unlike Devil Joe, so to speak. Like Devil Joe, I think it's a cool hunt, and I love that he's in the game, but his hunt didn't exactly feel like he was like dragged and dropped. He very much feels like a kind of different monster. But with Tigrex, it feels like Tigrex and World, which is pretty cool. And of course, once we have our endgame sets and we're doing a lot more damage, the dynamic of the hunt will change. It goes without saying that doing more damage will make a hunt easier. Who would have thought, right? But Tigrex's hunt has always been a hunt where specifically doing more damage, or enough damage, will allow for these headlocking setups and such. And I think it'll be the same for World. You'll be able to trip lock easier, dunk easier, and so on. I'm not saying it'll be a completely new hunt, but it'll definitely be affected by endgame gear. So I'll give Iceborne Tigrex 69 guild marms. So if we tally up all the points, the winner is... It doesn't really matter. I feel like in this day and age, when it comes to video games or media in general, it seems like you have to like one thing and then dislike the other, especially if it's things that can be compared or pitted against each other. But that doesn't have to be the case. You might love Iceborne Tigrex and hate old Tigrex, or vice versa. And you know what? That's great. Both versions of him are going to have their pros and cons when all said and done. And in essence, everyone should kind of hate any version of Tigrex. He's not that great of a hunt. He's a very large, wide hitbox with a repetitive moveset, always moving, always angry, and yet he's still a highly coveted monster in the series. Having a Monster Hunter game without him feels kind of weird. We could get the most busted version of Tigrex ever in the game, and we would still be kind of happy that he's just there. I guess what I'm saying is, screw these Guildmarm points, enjoy whichever version of Tigrex you like, enjoy stuff you like in general, and decide your opinions yourself. You can get insight from videos like this or others on the internet, but don't let us decide for you, and don't push your opinion on others. Just think your own thoughts and do your own thing. Know what I'm saying? Also, I just lost count, and I don't really know what I was doing here. Anyways, guys, that's it. I know this video was a bit different. It was more of like an opinion piece. I started, I made the intro, and then I was like, I can't make this into like a full movie thing, so let me just dial it down a bit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.